Hi guys, it's Bella Jade Michaels. I am sitting in some ambiance and evening time, which is rare for me. Usually I do all my stuff during the day, but I had a moment to do something in the evening with a friend. And so would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hello, my name is Bryan, and I am the founder and owner of Skyrealm Films.
Yes.
It is a mouthful. And there's some big things that are coming up in the new year with my company, so just be on the lookout for those different changes and stuff. So
well, this year I think is about shedding a lot of what we didn't need, or having to really get rid of things that they just had to go. So everybody is really excited, stoked. This is the official New Year's Eve.
Everybody starts their New Year's resolutions tomorrow. Everything
do you have
changes.
any?
You know what? I have many, but I very seldom do
I don't make them.
Hold myself to them because
my whole year with me is a resolution. Every single day I'm pushing myself.
Right.
So by the time the new year gets there, it's just kind of like, well, I have plans to go and excel what I'm already doing.
Right.
So this brings us to the question that you have.
I've got a very important question, and I'm sure this is probably on the minds of a lot of people. Probably one of the things that I personally have trouble with and have experienced is identifying my purpose. And not only my purpose in life, but just my purpose in general. I've dabbled in a lot of different things. I dabbled in music production. I dabbled in culinary, which I'm a great chef, by the way.
You see me smiling. See, the listeners can't see me smiling.
Right.
That's because you asked me a question and you went off, and I got, right away, I get my beautiful teacher, Baba Ram, and he's smiling at me right now. And I've already got the answer for you. It's just, but he goes, but he's not gonna like it. So,
well, we very seldom do ever like the answers that we get because they're not the answers that we're looking for.
You're really not gonna like this one. Are you ready? So this happens with me. My teachers, even if they are still walking this planet, it's like I have this connection, and in moments, I get this a friendly, warm feeling, and there's my teacher, my mentor, just showering me with this wisdom. And because I always feel like a vessel, I'm not the person that comes up with this stuff. It comes into me.
Right.
So here it is. It's like, aren't we always looking for something to help us identify what our purpose is?
Or even identify who we are.
And here's what I get. This is the hardest thing to gather. Being absolutely present in the moment, completely letting go of all control, allowing the situation to be, because we're so used, the ego wants control over everything, a thought, situation, time, you name it, everything. But when you go, the only thing I have to do is honor the state of presence, there's a blossoming that happens. The ego can't understand that at all. It only knows its directive was to protect, gather information, and it's very corrupt because of the things that society has done. Okay, we all know that, and I think a lot of us are really past that point. We're wanting to move into a direction of what to do with the ego and how to know its tricks and all of its stuff like that. Purpose is already ingrained in your DNA. It's like it's like a flower that's born to grow, and it's going to be pink and white. And it's not going to be any other color in the rainbow but pink and white.
But if purpose is already ingrained in your DNA, how do you manifest or know that you are living your purpose.
Another really
per se.
stupid, cheesy line that I'm going to give you: follow your heart. It really means what you love to do as a kid. You will. When we think about this, we can go back and we go, "Gosh, I had a fascination with pretending to make movies," or I loved to play a game, or I love to pretend to be a sports broadcaster or something. There's a gem in there. And somewhere in there, there's a place to follow. You follow what feels so good to you naturally. That's your directive. And yes, you're going to have challenges, always. But if you find that you're really good at something and it feels good to do it and you love it, keep going that way. You know, you're never going to say, I found my purpose and it's easy breezy for me. So I'll give you my case in point as far as finding purpose. I know what my purpose is. I know how to be aligned with this. I know how to drive myself. I deal mostly with burnout. For me, overwhelm and burnout, because I'm very A-type, and so I have to get myself to slow down. And I'm often spread out way too thin to gather everything. So purpose, I know it. But at times it's like shifting the gears to get everything lined to where things are working for you doesn't always come right when you need it to. And so you can be knowing your purpose and really working those angles and getting better and honing in and doing your work, and it feels like you've got the slug of the universe kind of going any day now, and it's disappointing and scary and freaking frustrating, and then you question yourself.
Well, like I've questioned myself numerous times. Like, I feel it in my heart. Like, I studied music production for a long time. I love music.
Me too.
Music is like soothing to me. It relaxes me. It can pick me up. It
does lots of things.
It can
it can heal you.
It can do all kinds of stuff. Music is so phenomenal in what it does. So I studied music production for a while, and like it felt like it was a lot of work. So I'm one of those types of people that I don't want to do a lot of work. I want to be able to just do it.
Guess what? It never happens.
It just seems to, it just seems to flow. And
well, the difference is, my grandmother.
I mean, I understand completely that you're gonna have work.
Yeah.
There's gonna be work involved.
Yeah. Sure is.
I don't want the work to feel like work.
Well, okay, I'll give you an example. My grandmother, Maggie Davis, was a romance writer. She was a best-selling author, okay, and she went under a couple of different names. And she would tell me, she had 4 boys and she was a single mother, and she had to write and she had to go to all of these events, and she would say, it's so hard for me. It was so hard for me. And she would talk to me and she'd say, but it's so easy for you. And it's never been easy. It's more like something I want to gobble up, and I want to play in it. But when I get down to doing it, especially if I haven't written in a while, I feel really crusty. I feel really clunky. I go, gosh, that, and so most of those pages are going to be exempt. They're just runner pages. Okay, that's like everybody's purpose. You're going to start it, and it's going to feel like this is kind of junk. I'm starting a new dance kind of thing, and I go through that right now. Good Lord, I've got to really drill that. And so it's going to always start out where you got to like really love what you do enough to be willing to put in that extra effort, because it's going to be a lot of resistance in the beginning and a lot of effort in the beginning,
Well,
especially if you're an innovator.
Sure. And in my filmmaking, you were talking about, you just mentioned that you were starting up a new dance thing, and how tough and how difficult that is for you.
Yep.
well, I experienced the same thing in my filmmaking. It gets better as you work it, I guess.
Yeah.
It gets better as you work it, and you figure out different angles, and you figure out different ways to make things look different, or you figure out different ways of lighting, and this, that, and the other. But man, when I started out, it was really daunting, and I was like, oh, this is just so much, and you get frustrated, and you get angry, and you go, oh, the equipment isn't working, or I don't have the right stuff, or I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm starting out on a low budget, and I need something better,
an epiphany.
and it's like, ugh.
It's such an epiphany here.
Right.
You said it on one scale, and I said it on another, but the message was the same. So for me, it was watching these really incredible stars that are pole dancers, right? And I watch them because I want to see the best. But I tell you, I couldn't get my ass on that pole, and I was struggling with it so bad. And the first day I saw those dancers, I cried. I sulked. I said, oh my God, am I ever going to get my big rump up on that, pole? Is it ever going to happen? It's so hard for me, and I don't get it. Those girls are whipping themselves around like they're noodles.
Right.
And it was the same thing. I wondered, was this really going to happen for me?
Right. Right.
But my mentors always told me, reach really high. Like so big that you have to know that it was the universe intervening, that there was no other way this could have ever happened. It was absolutely a miracle in standing, okay? So that's what I did. Mm-hmm. I said, well, what the hell? Right. I'm 49, almost 50. Okay, why not? I did all this other stuff, and I really had a time being in relationships with guys that really withheld my ability to move forward. And by this time, don't you know, I said, I've had enough,
Right.
I'm ready to shine. I did all that stuff. I had my babies and, and all of that great stuff. And so the same thing, that thinking of, good grief, is this ever going to really, is it worth it? But while I'm doing it, while I'm there sweating it out one more time.
Right.
I know. I don't know how I know, but somewhere in the back of me, I go, I'm a little bit better today.
Right.
And that's enough.
Absolutely.
To keep me going tomorrow.
Sure.
See what I mean?
And forgive me, I'm going to name drop here, but one of the biggest steps I've taken in my I call it amateur filmmaking adventure or journey, if you want to call it, whichever.
It's fantastic.
I got information of a program that was like $47, and it was a 14-day filmmaker's course.
Nice.
And I'm going to name drop here. So,
okay.
So
you must really like it.
Hopefully they listen to this.
Okay.
It's called the Content Creators is where you can do it, and it's Paul Xavier and Anthony Gallo. Anthony Gallo is he's a very well-known filmographer. Him and Paul Xavier have created this course for 14 days. It gives you a breakdown of like the ins and outs of basic filmmaking.
Nice.
In 14 days.
Wow.
And then of course they have other programs that you can branch off to, but one of the programs that really piqued my interest was with this 14-day filmmaker program and then another program, they can teach you and show you how to make six-figure dollars with using nothing but your cell phone to film commercials for big companies.
Yeah. There is a formula to that. Because I've heard that time and time again. So when people say six figures, I go, okay, you're using a formula that the rest of them are using. Now here's the thing.
Well, one of the things that you were talking about how you viewed dancers in videos of dancers and things, and how, you know, you sat down and you cried and you sulked like the first day one, because you were.
Oh, it was a big pity party.
You were wondering if you were ever going to be good enough to get there.
It was bad. I had every reason.
I look at, you know, I'm also a part of a group for the content creators. They have a Facebook group, and
so what are you finding in this?
I see their video. I see people's videos, and they're just phenomenal. And
it's like,
and I look at mine and I go,
oh, I know, right?
Like, oh my God.
So
this is so basic. It's like 2-dimensional. I mean,
I have to remember.
There's so many angles that people get, and I see, it's just.
Have you ever excelled at anything, even anything small like riding a bicycle? People usually take this for granted, but how many times did you fall on it? But you had a vision. I'm going to ride that thing if it takes me all day, and if I get beat up, but you did it because you had that goal in mind. It's like the same thing. You know, what I hear with everybody is this: whatever your purpose is, creation is always involved. Mm-hmm. So even if a person says, God, it's my biggest dream to be like the most amazing accountant, okay?
Right.
I would say then you must have a fascination with the language of numbers. Not everyone does, but there is a language with numbers that people have that resonate with.
Right.
You know, the thing about filmmaking or dancing
right.
or being either on one end of the film or the other is there's a story in the middle, and there's a magic that happens. So, you know, when I think of filmmaking, because I've often thought about that, it's like, how can I get what's inside of my head out to visually be content for someone else to
view,
not just view, to somehow understand it too.
Right.
So they get it, this really, you know, and think of all the twisted, bizarre things that you can be thinking of, and all of the dark stories or all of the experience that you, and that will be a lens.
Yeah.
And so this is a different kind of language. And the appeal to it is that it calls for you to go inside to your creative zone and to pull from there. Not the over-logical one, not that, all that. Going into, well, you know, certain techniques work better for filming. Like dancing, obviously, you want to be careful with what you do with your body or you could get hurt. So it's the same thing, you know, with you could screw up your whole film if you
scrap it.
Sure.
You got to start over.
And
that's time wasted.
Oh, and boy, don't I know about that?
So
dancing in front of the camera with the lens cover on. Oh, good.
Right. So, you know, as we're sitting here having a wonderful discussion, and thank you.
Well, thank you.
You know, purpose and finding a purpose is that has been, as I said earlier, that's been a big challenge. So
you could have more than one love. And I bet that might be a conflict for you, because you might go, gosh, I love filmmaking and I might really love something else. So here's what you've got to know. Everything that you experience somehow has to be fused together. Like for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how in the world am I going to get this exotic dancing fused with being a Reiki master, fusing with Pilates person. And it was just like, how is that going to come together? But it did. And I mean, it had to be the whole scope, right down to the metaphysics. Had to be the whole thing. Everything I went through, from drug addiction to alcoholism, all that stuff I went through was for a greater purpose. So your purposes are not over this way, where there's one here and here. They're intermingled. You just have to find where that comes together. And, you know, being a filmmaker, you have the possibility of making visual fantasies come to life with whatever you are, you know, projecting. So they merge together always. Mm-hmm. And it's insane, because I never, ever, ever in 100 million years would have said, oh, an exotic dancer stripper is doing consciousness awareness work, and now she's healing with the modalities of these old dances, and I had no idea how that is a plan painted by God itself. Okay.
Absolutely.
And to make sure, this is an extra bonus, that I wasn't a heterosexual woman, that I was bisexual. Like Ram Dass was beautiful, a gay man, and openly gay. I love him for that, because that's another example of the universe and the creator showing us that these gender, hate, racial oppressions, things against us are irrelevant, they're useless.
Yes.
The real things we need to be focusing on are how we hurt each other, how we hurt ourselves, how we hurt the planet, and getting back into our place of love and empathy and compassion. Everything else is just, it's a remnant of the garbage we've been fed. And all you have to people say, oh, I don't know how to love. Like, do you? You do. Pet a puppy for a second.
Sure.
You know how to love. You've been told you don't know how to love. You've been told that you can't feel safe, because people do give you a lot of reasons to not feel safe when you're a child.
Right.
That's where you learn it. So, your purpose. What's your heart desire? What makes you sing? I mean, people say, what would you do if you never... Oh, I dance, and I do it every day if I didn't get paid. And sometimes I don't. Trust me, I dance for myself. I'm not getting paid. Yes?
So on the journey of purpose...
Yes.
And discovering one's purpose, how do you know when you have attained that which we
I
would
love this.
consider our purpose?
Here comes Ram again. So one last thing for you. Your purpose is not separate from the now. So live it up in the moment. I mean, get the bells and whistles out, put on the party hat, and make the moment now. That's it. There's no such thing as when I get there. That will be forever. You make it in the moment. How do I know my purpose? What did I do today that made me feel so good? However big, however small, I moved in that direction and I loved it. It was fantastic. Whatever I did with it. You see, you make it in the moment. It can't be made for you, because you are the essence of the creator. So how do you know? Well, you just start to feel better and better, and the more you do it, you feel better. And yes, you'll have challenges, but there's like a switch. It's almost like your angels are finally going, oh my God, he's finally on, man. Let's kick him into high gear, and you feel a difference. Miracles start to come in. Stress starts to go down. You have an open heart, a lighter heart, because walking around in this world being really confused is heavy and dense. That's why we have a lot of depression. But even in good works, it talks about a light heart, lightheartedness, and it really feels like that. Oh, thank God. So how do you know what you do? You just start a little bit, and you keep going a little bit, and you build momentum into it, and you just love how it feels. And that's the big trick of the ego, because it takes you bloody forever to get happy with the ego in charge. It never comes. But to get it instantaneously, to just decide to move into what would feel so good to you, regardless of how people will judge you or what they'll say about it.
Right.
Yeah. It's got a magic in there. That's the alchemy. You follow those dreams, you follow your heart, you follow your desire, you get hooked into it, you love your life. You find reasons to wake up and laugh, and you see the world not through the eyes of a judger. You see the world as a place that's lost and in need of love.
So, you mentioned earlier that, you can have more than one purpose.
Absolutely.
And you can intermingle them at some point. They
will intersect,
they will
yes.
intersect. So, my question would be, and it may have been answered, it may not have been, but in this discussion, but can you feel happy in one aspect of your life's purpose and all of a sudden not feel happy in that space and feel happy about something else. So does that say, well, that was my life purpose, or that was my purpose, but it is no longer my purpose? I'm loving this. Like me, for instance, I love music and I love being a music producer, and I love studying that, but then all of a sudden it just kind of went, and I switched over into something else.
I will tell you.
So is it just me going, oh, I'm just trying to grasp, and I'm grasping for whatever I can reach for to find happiness and to achieve happiness.
You would think that.
Oh, I'm just reaching and grasping, like, you know, out in thin air.
And we really kind of are sometimes. But because I thought that too when I became an exotic dancer when I was 19. I thought I was reaching, grasping. I had no idea that was going to be a big playing role in how I did improvisation, how I learned to dance on my own independently, how all of that, how I knew that world of dance and performing. It was going to be massive, but I put it down because I was ashamed of it. And for a long time, I didn't want to admit that I loved to move my body in those ways because there was so much shame. I mean, women are terrible to each other, and men think it's an invitation, you know, when you're wanting to feel sexy. And so I put that down for a little while, and I thought, oh, that's way in the past. But do you know what happened? Is it came full circle. It found its way back in a different package. So it was still the same, but the whole voice of it had changed. The whole intent of it. It now had power, and it had pleroma, fullness to it. It had substance, and it had a need to be expressed in a way that was going to now heal women instead of exploit them in ways that they aren't even aware it's going on. They know to some degree, but like all of us, we have the please disease. We really have to be so, we want to please each other. We will damn near do anything to be good enough for somebody else. Okay? And it really isn't about that. It's about us looking in the mirror and being okay with that. And that's hard to do. So your purpose, your music will find some way to tap into your filmmaking, and all of these ventures will fuse together. Doesn't mean that you should like go, well, goodness, maybe I should pick that up again and that up again, and you know, you would be bombarded with a million.
And that would have been the next question that you answered it, and that would have been the next question I had. Well, okay, I found my purpose in filmmaking. I enjoy it. I love it. I love the creativity of it. Okay, I also love to cook, and I also love music, and I also love to read, and I also love to hike and bike, and okay. So do I pick that up and go, oh, I need to dive back into that more and learn more?
Look at what's the ego doing right now? The ego's saying, I need to reach out and find it. Give it to me. And the universe is saying, and it flows to you. So keep doing what you're loving and being open. Oh, do I feel like doing something else today? Maybe it's a peppering. I tell you, it's kind of like that with me with my writing right now, because I want to get back into writing, but I have to have like a quiet zone, no interrupt me, you know, like a biohazard sign on the door. If you open it, something will go off and blow up in your face. You know, I mean, I have to be what they call underground when I'm writing, because I have to go into my characters, and there's a spin of the way I just do things. And so I'm only getting tatterings of that done right now. So maybe that's how it goes. You know, little bits of it, but when you're allowing the universe to roll it out for you, it comes as it's needed, and you get what you need. And you really don't have all these questions about how you're supposed to go in what direction. It's totally the opposite of what we're taught in life. Is you got to work really hard, you have to have focus, you need to know your purpose. And I'm saying you already know all of that. It's just covered up in shadows. And that as long as you really are following what gives you joy, you're on the right path. And so it may branch. I mean, like I said, I never knew this was going to be this merging of very ancient forms of dance and very erotic forms and massive healing powers with the meridians and Reiki energy and all this spinning around. Who would have known that? And then I wanted to add the expression of pole dancing, you know, just for shits and giggles, right? Just to say, by God, it's the only thing in the universe. I feel that if I was able to do that and to be really confident and feeling amazing, I would know that was an act of something much bigger than myself. And the expression for me is that I don't believe in old age. I don't believe in catastrophe. I believe we don't know enough about the aging body or the saging body. I believe that better nutrition is in store for our elders and that we need them more than ever. And that we need to be definitely listening and not discarding our elders, but embracing them and caring for them and making sure they're well and healthy, okay? Because we're gonna need them. We are. And so, purpose. Whether you're 30 or 70, follow your heart, your dreams. I hope this was helpful for you.
Very much.
I always get a giggle if Ram comes in. He's so, and you guys can't see, but Bryan like felt it really quick as soon as I start smile. I get this funny smile, and over my left shoulder, I always hear Ram laughing. He's got the warmest laughter. Well, Muji does too, but who can, you know, they all they all have their beauty. But it feels like I've got a tickling feather under my heart. And he's always got that message that's really like the hammer. But the way that it's put is so sweet and endearing. Like, quit chasing. It's already here. Okay. Have a wonderful evening, guys. It is officially moving into a brand new year, 2022.
Brand new beginnings.
Absolute brand new beginnings. Today I put up a little dance of Ganesh, and so you guys can grab that. It's super simple, but just some of these movements that we do, our hands are electromagnetic, so wherever you put them, however arc you put around your body or you touch your body, you change it. So we're incredible beings. We need to take better care of ourselves and each other. This is Bella Jade Michaels saying, signing off, guys. I will see you later. Happy New Year.